Namaskar. Very good evening to everyone and most welcome to our today's special guest, an eminent literary personality, Kumar Prasanna from Hyderabad, India. So, once again, very good evening, Kumar. Hope you are quite well.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you. So, before going to the main point, let's hear about Prasanna, our today's guest. Prasanna Kumar is a widely published, translated and award-winning, internationally acclaimed multilingual poet and editor. His recent edited international anthologies are Love and Longing, Songs of Peace, and Manu Manushattvam, Sense of Humanity. His poetry book, Flowers from the Valley, which was co-written Dr. Yakshal released in 2022 and his first book was released in 2020, co-written with Mary Felicias of Philippines. He is the chief founder of the Fertile Brains, an online success literary platform. He is making a significant contribution to world literature, especially poetry. And master degree in commerce, Prasanna is a social worker by profession. And we will explore Kumar more and more with the passing time of our show. So,
Thank
what
you.
do you know about? Yes.
First of all, let me thank you for having me on this prestigious platform that Creative Tripura. This is a wonderful platform that has been running, and that introduced several of personalities who are not only writers but also they have who contributed in the sports and social field, and that's the great work that has been put forth by Honourable Sujata Paul, who's a teacher herself and who's a well-known poet herself, and writes a wonderful poetry. Being on her show is such a honor and such a privilege to. For me, to sharing a few words and talking about the journey of poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Prasanna. So, from your profile, we came to know you are from commerce background. I just want to ask you firstly, being in different background, how did you get started as a poet? Or when did your poetic journey start?
Uh, it was quite exciting, to be frank, I know, it's like, to be honest, it's like, it's a cathartic for me. It is a medicative relief for me when I was penning down. I shouldn't be daring sharing that, that downside of mine, but then I had this inclination of, reading and, towards this the poetry and all these things. But the commerce was, it's a kind of accidental thing. I was interested in the science, and my background was in this, like, always interested in biology and geology and the kind of things. But and also spirituality is the my mainstay. That is, you could say that, ever since I was kid, I used to flip the books, lying in the cupboards of them. My papa used to have these things, and secretly, okay, pick those books up, and I was a bad student. I haven't had enough complete schooling per se. But I had this, matriculation privately, and then later, I got this +2, and then since I was having this, kind of issues, kind of health issues, that I could I couldn't take up science stream, and I had to take the commerce. It was eventual, and it wasn't my choice, but it was an destiny. But then I was not into the profession of kind of commerce or commercial thing. So that is it, and that journey is something quite exciting since I was into the social service, and I was pretty much interested in putting down the case studies, and in and I used to have this disability studies, and kind of different kind of uh, mental disabilities, and I used to think, and this thing it comes in handy when you read out, and you get to know about this thing when you uh, you know um have when you work with the children and the people that you are not or deeply suffering with several of disabilities and all. And I was actually pursuing my ICWA and cost accountancy. I mean, it's like company secretary and all. At the same time, I was working in the NGO, and that's the thing that happened. But more or less, it is something blessing to have to be working to have given my self out to the the kind of needy, to have this NGO that I served, delivered kind of devices that I could able to. So that was it. It's just but yes, poetry happened is something like that. To be honest, it is something very depressing kind. I couldn't. It was a weak side of mine. It's like health issue that as I said. But you shouldn't be. You should. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, man. It's the blessing in disguise. And I wasn't ever thought of penning down, or having being seated in front of you and having a word with you. It was something like blessing in disguise. And it's been like years now, uh, and it's a kind of serendipity of the things that happened, and eventually it is taken into a shape. The people we got to get together and had this yeah, this thing happened. It's quite a journey. It's a very kind of exciting thing for me. Yeah.
Sai Prakash sir is there with us, who is wishing good evening to both of us. Thank you so very much, sir, and wish you the same. And please stay tuned till the last, like always.
And Sai Prakash sir is such a humble soul. I got to meet him on this on one of the occasion that I was held in Odisha, and he was such a beautiful guy. And I got to I was keenly observing his journey and the kind of things that he putting across, and the thing. But he's such a lovable guy.
Right. Yes. So I just I must say one thing that you mentioned already, that you were once upon a time a bad pupil. So I just want to say one's worth can't be measured not only by educational qualification, because you know very well uh, in according to our knowledge, so many are there who are bad people like Sachin Tendulkar and so many, and Rabindranath too didn't complete his schooling. That is, he didn't have any formal education, but in course of time we have we are witnessed of their worth. So who could tell that once upon in course of time you will be turned into an eminent personality, a worldwide personality, and you will become a poet. So this is not a fair, not a fact, and no one could tell about one's future, who or what is happening in his
Like you
life.
said, yeah, like you said, nothing, you cannot have this, educational, you cannot relate the education's qualification with, the work you do. And, it is disheartening when you get to know, when you get to be asked, and, when you are writing a poem, whether in the, poetry field or writing, whether you are from the literary background, or you're doing a kind of professorship in the college or universities, or what is your background, something like that, and how come you are writing in English poetry? Have you taken English literature, or have you taken Hindi literature? Have you taken any kind of the thing? This is, shouldn't be in, he's a poet. He is in art form, doesn't need to have this, what do you call, formal training or formal kind of thing. It could be, take for example a shepherd. A shepherd is the one who sings in, while reading this, what do you call, goats and all this sheep and all these things, and he plays the flute, and to have these things. So I'm like a shepherd. So so that is the.
Be a poet to have a special background, special educational background, because poetry comes from within. The thing we imagine, we feel, and the way we express is the poetry. So it's never essential or never mandatory to have any special IQ for writing poetry.
Exactly.
Really. So I just want to know what is poetry according to you, because it varies from man to man. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. It's a poetry is, it's a kind of, I would like to put it in the words of Emily Dickinson. If I read a book, and it makes my body so cold, and so cold, no fire can ever douse, or no fire can ever warm me. I know that is poetry. The poetry is the one, it gives you a feeling, it's a kind of feeling, exciting pleasure, but that's the thing. And it transports you in a kind of, it's a kind of a realm, when you feel yourself being calmed, and you feel a kind of contentment, when you write down a poetry and you finish it up, and you get to read this, whether you would be astonished, and where it makes you astonished, you're surprised that whether I happened this, how come that these lines have come from me. I mean, it's like you never expect this thing. Poetry is such a, outpouring, it just comes out, when you have this imagination, and the thought, or what, it's a kind of creation, the eloquence, when you have this eloquence of, expressing the things, that is how. But I don't know, I don't think I'm good at whether I'm good eloquent or not, but then yes, that is what poetry is all
How could
about.
you assess yourself? It's us, the readers, who will assess you or any poet. And you are absolutely right. Poetry should come from within, and it's whenever we go through any a few lines, and if it awakens us uh, physically, emotionally, or some way, herein lies the success of writing poetry. You are absolutely right.
Exactly. See, whenever I feel like down, and whenever it gets like, I happen to nothing, I should do something. Entertaining be. I should be entertaining myself through some creative form. Why not be it a poetic device, or poetic, the thing. So when you have the ability of, doing things, then put it in a, but a better, kind of responsible, or productive way. That's productive is very important. So that is
Yes,
what.
yes. Just like music, as music soothes us, same in a similar way, poetry also soothes us. Yes.
Exactly.
So, what kind of poetries generally you like to write?
I basically
Which
write, kind of, I like women's subjects, in general, but I also have this dark kind of, gothic kind of, style of, imagination, so like I want to. Uh, but in general, yeah, that is, yeah. Lighter incense, cannot have. I would try myself peek into deep within the mind and the heart. So maybe foraging, some dark corners. So that is it.
who are your favorite poets, if you
You cannot
share?
see my face. I cannot put it myself. Whenever I feel like reading out some, you cannot. I cannot. If you ask me a favorite movie star or favorite something like that, I cannot have this favorite kind of thing. Because I like basically the entire thing of concept of the art of creativity of the poetic form. So it depends, on your mood. So you cannot say. Sometimes you got say, Sylvia Plath, sometimes you got Ravindranath Tagore, sometimes you got a regional poet, sometimes get so a Neruda, and some cannot have it because if you have this favorite kind of poet, when you will what my as per my knowledge or as per what I believe is your style of imagination or your style of writing would be restricted or limited. You should have a plethora of you should have vast reading, extensive reading. That's what I meant. So I don't have any particular poet because you have if you cannot prejudice kind of thing mental. You should like and you should I know everyone has their style of saying a style of expressing the things the theme would not change you have this same themes in a prose but then the putting it's like if you take this Shakespeare he put it in the what do you call sonnet form and something like also dramas and all so this depends
Exactly,
frankly I'm
absolutely.
speaking.
Okay. Can you recall any poem of any renowned English poet like Shakespeare, Keats,
And like I said I cannot
if you like?
yeah maybe some few lines or something but as of now I think I could I don't know because as I said I haven't this thing so not at all.
Then uh, please share two of your favorite poetries. First,
I cannot,
I would
let me I don't have any favorite thing that is what.
written by you. You have told that you are writing on women's subject. So, firstly, we will hear any poem on women written by you.
A poem on women in general, right? And maybe I think, I
Is it
think
any poem on women?
no, it is not like me. It can be. Uh, can it be a lighter one? Maybe I could present a Hindi poem.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Okay, this is it.
Okay.
मैं हूँ मैं हूँ हर ख्वाब में हर ख्यालात में तुम्हारे सांस और तुम्हारी यादों में हर पल हर घड़ी तेरे साथ तेरे पास मत हो उदास ना कर इंतजार क्योंकि हूँ काजल से सजे तेरे नैनों में, तेरी चूड़ियों में, तेरे गजरे में, हर ख्वाब में, हर ख्यालात में, हर वो जगह तेरे कदम रुके, हर वो मंजर पर जो तेरी आहट की हाह की प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं। मैं हूँ, सुनो वो आवाज रात की सन्नाटे में, जुगनू की बिजली से, सौंधी मिट्टी और साफ हवाओं में, हर ख्वाब में, हर ख्यालात में, हर पल पल पल, हर पल में तेरे साथ, तेरे संग। मत झांको उन सितारों में, मत देखा करो मुझे बीती दिनों की आईना में, नजर हटा दो उस अंबर से, नजर हटा दो उस अंबर से, ना करो दुआ ना करो पूजा पाठ मेरी उम्मीद लिए। मैं हूँ हर पल पल पल, हर पल, हर ख्वाब में, हर ख्यालात में, छोड़ दो सोच, यूं ही असर ना बहा, जाग तेरे अंदर की हूँ मैं, तेरी हर धड़कन में, थोड़े थम जा, पलके आंखों की बंद कर, सुनो वो आवाज, सुनो वो आवाज कि मैं हूँ हर पल पल पल, हर पल, हर ख्वाब में, हर ख्यालात में।
बहुत खूब,
धन्यवाद।
बहुत yes. That woman is always there, either as a mom or as a beloved, but she is always there. It's right. Superb, superb poem. Thank you so much. Um,
Um, am I to go
uh,
present the second one?
an English one.
Let's have Hindi in second one in Hindi. I think yes,
No
or
problem.
otherwise yeah. I think I you know, I just have written one in English. It was about questioning about this psyche of the thing, and that is the very you know and this
Second one.
it is particularly targeted about the kind of section of gender. You cannot have this kind of mental kind of thing, emotional imbalance something. Being a creepy amidst creepers of creepy minds, some take her as a cranky lassitude is said to be her consistent posture and a positivity. Passivity is the name of her activity. Inertness to the positivity. Now, who could decipher her mentality? The clarity of being amongst humanity is always a persistent question to the society. Could you, my dear friends, assume her personality and answer whether it's just a normality or deemed as abnormality? Says this unruly poetess Prasanna Kumar. And this is that's the image that gone by. So this is kind of thing that I you know it's addresses it's questions about the alienation for the particular section of the people who are mentally depressed, and the depression is something what you uh, is to be addressed, mental health and the emotional equilibrium, and kind of vulnerabilities is always my topic of poetry. That is what your previous questions were. That is it.
Superb, superb. You wanted to make us hear your another Hindi poem, so please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is third one, and maybe yeah. उसने मुझे इस तरह निहारा जैसे जन्नत से किया हुआ इशारा, कि मुझे हुआ एक एहसास कि मैं हूं इतना खास। उसने मुझे इस तरह निहारा जैसे जवान देते हैं सरहद पर पहारा। इस शरद ऋतु के सवेरे स्वर्ग से बरसी अमृत धारा। ओह रे पिया, किया तूने मेरे खोए दिल को जागृत, कि हुआ मुझे महसूस, खो नहीं दिया मैंने तुम्हें, ना ही हूं मैं अकेला। राह पे चलते चलते मेरे चेहरा खिलखिला, वो मेरे साथ ना रहकर भी साथ है हर पल, कि पल पल मुझे नहीं होने दिया महरूम। वो ना वो ना मौजूदगी वो ना मौजूदगी में भी इस तरह निहारी, कि मुझे हुआ महसूस मेरे साथ है मेरे दिलदारी। अब हमेशा अब हमेशा हमेशा हरा भरा मेरा मन, अब नहीं होता महसूस क्या उसका खालीपन। जन्नत सी होती है मेरी प्रेमिका की प्यार की धारा। और ये पिया, यह है मेरी छोटी सौगात, लफ्ज भरी निशानी। धन्यवाद।
क्या बात, क्या बात। सो किसी ने ऐसा निहारा शायद, इसीलिए हमारे पोएट के अंदर इतना फीलिंग्स जागृत हुआ। बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब, बहुत अच्छा
But
लगा।
I never get to experience that kind of thing. But it's only an imagination, when you put into this thing. So that's the comes into play. When you have this creative faculty of things, when you visualize and you put it in the shoes of like a lover, or forlorn lover, or kind of thing, unrequited love, kind of depression, soul, whatever in the affected being, whatever it is, the theme, places you, that stand viewpoint. So that is thing.
Rupali Sirkar Gaur madam is there with us. We are really very fortunate to have her in our show, and she is telling super exactly.
Yes,
And
on mentioning of her name, Dr. Rupali ma'am is the one who, it's you cannot as during your beginning question you asked about this thing, how do you come into the poetry and how this journey happened, how exciting it is, just the people you get to meet during the journey, you never expect and you never foresee that these things would happen ever. And such a thing happened with me when when I I got to know about Rupali man. In fact, the Rupali ma'am, maybe see, that is a thing, the divine intervention. I would say that, ever since being, we never a day never we miss a day, never we miss a day of without interaction, daily, so daily interaction is, it's a kind of she's my philosopher guide, and she become, ever since we both come to know each other. So I have no words, though I have the team called Fatal Brains, and we've been running and we've been promoting this this platform. I was saying, you might be knowing about this Fatal Brains, that we that runs this important segments weekly, recitals and all. Yeah, and we also have this kind of legendary thing, Indian poets that we talk about, and so the professors or poets, they come and they talk about, choose a particular poet of Indian language, kind of legendary English language poet, and also they present, talk about them, and it's a kind of in a kind of academic kind, and it's a kind of their contribution in the poets' contribution, that we weren't knowing about the regional poets, but their contribution has to be known to the public. So this is was some segment that was poets talk about poets is something, a very good segment that we came about, and we had these discussions with others and all. Such a thing, it's these things happen when you have this like-minded people and a very good-hearted people supporting you, and constantly being with you, helping, and kind of encouraging, and that gives inner strength. So that is the thing. Yeah,
Yes, exactly right. Rupali Sirkar Gaur Madam is such a magnetic personality that we are just speechless what to say. Because she is really a very nice human being, beside being a poetess and a professor. And perhaps I don't know before you, perhaps I was known to her, and due to my professional and family obligations, I couldn't contact with her always. But she always advises me and always encourages me how to proceed. Really, these kind of personalities are rare in this world, because we always find the jealousy, red, so many things. But there are some figures, some prominent personalities are there also, who tries to run this world to run smoothly. And Rupali Sirkar Gaur Madam is one of them. So thank you very much, dear ma'am, for being with us
absolutely.
always. Okay. Now, my next question would be, how many uh, poetry book you have published already, and if possible, please share with us about your first publication and the experience of it.
Yeah, those great. First experience is always a good experience. It was something that happened. What do you call? It's like or fluke. And I was like, there is this friend of mine, and she is, part of this. She was in Hong Kong, and her name is Marie Felices, and we thought of having this book, and that's how it came out. First book came out, and it was like Pearl of Euphoria. And I need not have to do anything, for the thing. I just have submitted my manuscript, and she has done everything, and the book cover and everything. And in 2020 it has been, I mean, it's released in 2020 December, maybe, yeah, and during Corona times. And that was my first book. And um, uh, and later I had this, in 2022 I had this beautiful personality who was, who liked me, my this thing, and my writings, and basically me. I mean, it's like I'm fortunate to be having, loved by such a elderly person. He's 85, and he has this inclination of writing ever since. He's a retired professor, and he's a doctorate holder, and he's such a I mean experience. So he asked me to have this to share, few of my writings, and so that he could, incorporate, and some of his poems, and take out a book which is nothing but flowers from valleys, flowers from Valley is the book that came out. This is it. This is along with Dr. Asayesh Paul Kalra, and yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Congratulations.
And later, just after my demise of my father, and it just happened to be I was in, we had this huge gathering of, celebrating 2nd of October, Gandhi Jayanti, which is celebrated as International Day of Non-Violence, and that has a huge gathering. But in the coming month, I mean, it's like in the month and November, I witnessed my father being, and then this idea born out, to have this book called Song of Peace, and Song of Peace came, uh, out of it. But this the idea, and the entire credit and the work that has been went. I mean, it's like, this thing. the entirely the credit goes to Rupali Sakar ma'am, and the Yuvati that that sponsored this thing. So that was it, and we had has a couple of anthologies and all, but also have this Manushaton that later happened last year, which again we had this huge gathering of on the theme based recital called we will lift by rising we rise by lifting others, and so on, and that transformed into Marishatvam, and which eventually released in this year August, and we had this in a small gathering of physical event too, which has been of course that was again credit goes to Rupali ma'am. Yeah.
Rupali Sirkar God Madam is telling thank you for your love, Sujata, and you are my crutches. Of course. And it's our greatest pleasure to have you also in our lives. Isn't it, Prasanna?
Exactly, exactly. I cannot put in words. This thing. But I always live with her. I always with her. Maybe I'm a foster child in the form or philosopher, spiritual child. No, whatever it is. So,
She also
so I
thinks she
don't
has
have.
a daughter.
I can call her, ma'am. I can call her auntie. I can call her ma'am, and kind of whatever I feel like. Kids those things. The kind of love that's resonates.
Sai Prakash sir is also congratulating you for your new published book. Poetry book. Thank
Yeah, Malaysia though is much very much this thing. He got 165 poets and it's got a huge volume of things. So we have got nothing to do. We cannot take credit of anything. So it's all about unless you have the poets, who share, and it couldn't have happened. And the credit goes to the poetry community and the poets in general.
you. Rupali madam is telling I am overwhelmed. This is Prasanna's day. Indeed.
She always, she whenever I was there, I am down, and she is like, she nudges me and supports me and pushes me forward, and that is the thing. So I cannot thank her. I should not thank her. Some people should not be thanked.
uh, so many
Oh,
eminent.
yes, I Prakash sorry, thank you, and I should thank him. He's also as like I said earlier, he's a lovable guy and lovable, very humble being. And
So
his mother
share.
is a great scholar, and who had this 3,000 of satakas, such as great scholar. Her mother is
Yes, yes.
naturally.
Share us an a romantic English poetry, as you have already recited Hindi one, but now it's time to
I
recite
cannot have
uh,
this. Maybe it cannot be come under a romantic kind, but kind of a sensuous, or a kind of you could see a. You know, I don't know how the people could take it as, but yeah. In the unstoppable scream of stillness, the feathers of silence ruffle to make the sound of lustrous company, shouts of romantic gold still shining on the lips. The betrayal of Zephyr took her into the nook of repose. Yet the thick of times wiped the tears of amoral slashers, wished to have kisses galore to dazzle the porous skin of the temporal fires. The water having reached the boiling point, raised the alarm to a full blue moon in which she peeked into the past of the lissome league wherein she fought to the fullest, the unruly poetess. And this is the thing that
super.
goes by. So, thank you, ma'am.
You are running a poetic group. The name of the group is Fertile Brains. So, how, how has this particular title come?
Yes, it is. You can, we, when we created, we didn't have this particular title, something called, the fertile brains or something happened. But it was, the people get, you get the suggestions from the people and you get to, you cannot have uh, the sole, the thing. But, it's a kind of suggestion that I got. When initially we had the different name, but then we later change it because it gives kind of uh, seriousness, or a kind of it reflects the work that has been won, and moreover it is what do you call uh, sensible in having kind of title, because you're a writer, you should have this kind of thing. So that is it. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. The aspiring poets, please share some of the features of a good poetry.
Features of a good poetry should be simple. You should be using the you should use a simple language. You should be understandable with the common readers, and you should avoid the bombastic language that you cannot have this a kind of highly literary words that cannot be understandable by I mean like if the readers gets lost in and getting the meaning of this thing, and during the process the entire concert, the theme gets lost. So that is what I believe. And yes, that is simplicity and the point, and that is the thing. It should be precise and concise sometimes. Yeah, it should be to the point that what you are trying to express. But we tend to deviate naturally. But those are the things that I would keep it simple.
Uh, what would be your advice for the aspiring poets?
They should read, they should observe the things around. They should be empathetic, for the concerns of the things that are happening around. And this is the medium that we could express, and you could show our a kind of anger, if we could kind of protest, a kind of love, a kind of sympathy, and you could also empower, you could inspire. These are the things that we can do with writing, when it comes to poetry. Also, it's a powerful tool, maybe, compared to other arts. That is what I believe. But that is my advice, is something, have a look around and just observe, and observe the people. Listen to the breeze of a silent, the tunes of breeze, and rustling sounds and all. Look at the skies. Keep your smile, keep yourself calm, and that's the thing. Yeah.
What's what does your mom say about your this writing field?
Sorry.
What does your mom say about your writing field? That is about this writing journey. How does she support you in this case?
How does she support me?
Yeah, yeah, your mom.
Mom, she always loves me. I mean, it's like I'm pampering kid. It's like she always pampers me, and like I'm a lost child, born after 10 years of gap or something like that. And she always loves me, supports me, and yeah, always loves. Basically, she loves me, and whatever I do, she would accept. Yeah,
And regarding poetry or your poetic
yeah.
journey, what is her
Poetic journey.
opinion?
She's overwhelmed, overwhelmed. And it's like she has no words, and she always feels like, how come? That is it. But being honest, that is the thing. I mean, I'm putting myself out, so I was like pouring myself out.
My
Truly,
last
yeah.
question, being a poet, what's your opinion about women empowerment?
That's what I said. Woman empowerment is my the topic ever since. One of the my niece he always observes that, mommy, I mean, it's like, uncle, you always have this women themes around, circling around this women and empowerment themes. So your themes, you are specifically interested in writing and kind of things. So women empowerment is why it's very much the last time I think I had this Sai Prakash's poem I was going and reading, and he shared such a nice lines. I got to write. So much has to be done, despite having, we have this laws and enactments and some having kind of reservations and things. Despite a lot of things are happening around, having legislative rules and enactments. So what I feel is still it has to be, you know there is this thing called you cannot have you cannot say that the have man is empowered or female is empowered. It requires females. Both have this unique identity. So unique, you male has me his unique identity, and female has female. So you need to have understand and respect each other. That is what, each gender has to be respected. So that is, the kind of balance has to be maintained. And because you cannot have the same thing as the other gender have, the other gender cannot have the same thing. So but if you can have put it together, we could have the kind of balance, and then it is beautifully be, and a life can be beautifully be, you know lived. That is the thing. There shouldn't be
Thousand
any kind
percent,
of, but humans, it's just tend to have these egos and the laws. So that's the thing.
1000% right. Yeah. Thank you so very much. We have already reached at the last moment of the show, so please share a simple and short poetry before conclusion.
uh, my father used to, believe in the women empowerment. He always talks about, and he always, encourage, and he never was, he always used to, promote the education and the rights, and he was very much vocal about the education and the need of education for the women, and that in turn helps in the helps the family and the upbringing of the children, and these are the things. And he was very much he was never you know uh, uh, he was always against the displaying. I mean, it's like with the featuring of women in the movies and all. He was always against it. And whenever they saw a song plays on this television, he never. Uh, I mean, that's the thing. You should have this assault. My eyes seeks blessing as I closed them. Set to dreaming a town of tears, I was shocked by the sight as it unfolded. I went into further to watch the picture. I see a lady in distress in the pool of blood splattered floor. Rushed towards to save from draining her chastity. Well, it was almost end of scene, wherein many already mowed her down, crushing her skin and flesh. I tried to resist my outpouring, witness the setting, cursed myself to be not able to dispose of. Couldn't help myself crying out at my helplessness, sought blessings so as not to have spectacle of shots that renders the heart with bruise of the laceration, assault. This was it.
Tired hurt.
So
So you're right. Something exactly. So I must say it was a rich and wonderful, fruitful session with you, Prasanna. And once again, thank you very much for joining my show and making us richer by your wonderful discussion on poetry and literature. And hope you will shine more and more and will come in my show again with your another achievement. And please take a great care of yourself. Be fit and fine. And once again, thank you. Take care.
let me
Bye.
be such an honor again when say I cannot I can I have no words and I haven't imagined that this talk would turning out to be such an amazing and an experience today that we had for last 1 hour, and the entire credit goes to you, Sujata ma'am, that you uh, put some questions, some valuable questions, and the very, I mean, like insightful question that touched, some moments, touching moments too. So and the entire credit goes to you, and thank you for having me. And I mean, it is I'm such a I'm feeling such an overwhelming, overwhelming being part of this. And thank you for considering, and thank you such a, yes, we definitely meet in some other meet. And thank you for my dear friends, thank you for watching, and those who would be watching. And thank you Rupali ma'am, thank you Sir Sai Prakash sir, thank you. You could all join us on the Fatal Brains, and you could have this join us recitals or whatever you feel like. You will share this thing. And Sujata ma'am, he's here also with that's with creative Tripura. I could all could all together do could do something. It's a kind of productive work. And thank you once again all for having me. Thank you.
Yes, millions of thanks, Rupali ma'am, Sai Prakash sir, and all those who were watching and who will be watching later. And thank you very much once again. Bye. Good night.